Bilderberg's pick for 2016. Messina is now advising Hillary Clinton. His presence at Bilderberg will be focused around ensuring none of Hillary's potential challengers get the big bucks from the innumerable transnational banks and corporations that will be represented at the secretive confab. So in summary, Bilderberg's 2015 talking points and agenda for the next 12 months. Further isolating Russia over Ukraine, arming Ukrainian militias and potentially stoking a major confrontation with NATO, strangling financial support for Hillary Clinton's potential 2016 presidential competitors, the elites positioning themselves as financial saviors when more riots and civil unrest unfold, moving towards the abolition of cash and imposing economic totalitarianism, discrediting the Out campaign for the United Kingdom's EU referendum, rebranding authoritarianism in anticipation of the coming economic collapse, finalising the TPP as the next pillar of global government, dismantling China and the BRICS countries' ability to challenge the unipolar system, selling artificial intelligence and Big Brother surveillance as trendy and cool in order to fool the general public into adopting technology that will eviscerate their financial livelihoods and personal privacy. So that's what we know so far about the real agenda behind Bilderberg 2015, with more leaks and information to come. I'll be travelling out to Austria to join InfoWars reporters Rob Dew and Josh Owens, so be sure to check out the other videos on this channel and the Alex Jones channel as we lead the coverage for Bilderberg 2015.
That's right.
I'm Paul Joseph Watson reporting for...
Excellent job, Paul Joseph Watson. He's now in Austria. He's now on the ground. He may even be joining us coming up here in about 10 minutes from our live feed on top of the hotel. It's all coming up. He deserves a Pulitzer Prize. Run, but they're fleeing forward, trying to accelerate and cement their plans that are in deep trouble in the process of trying to establish an open fascist planetary government. They are endangering the entire globe. And we've got more economists, more experts coming out saying they believe we're going to have World War III. The owner of Alibaba, arguably bigger than Amazon, is coming out saying he thinks World War III is coming, and it's a good thing. This shows the delusional, crazy town stuff that's starting to go on with these elites. I don't care how many mansions you've got or how many underground bunkers or jet copters or how many mistresses these people may have. World War III is something the planet probably won't survive, much less you. But they're megalomaniacs, and they've lost connection to reality. I mean, Hitler wasn't a novice. He was a combat vet of World War I, but he still became delusional and bit off more than he could chew. I mean, he had 70 million Germans total, and he thought he was going to take over billions of people. Gave it a good go. But the delusion soon wore off. And these elites today, I mean, almost every elite ends up getting crazy at the end of an empire, and they always start wars they end up losing. And now if we have this happen, it's goodbye. Goodbye will be the dead planet. I mean, life will reconstitute itself and creep back. Who knows how many hundreds of thousands of years it'll take. Bacteria and insects and things will continue on. But goodbye, planet Earth. For all intents and purposes, they want to trash this sucker out big time. Like a spoiled rock band throwing television sets off the 25th floor. In the second hour, I'm going to cover the geopolitical news, the economic news. It's all very intense. We're going to hit Bilderberg this hour. Then in the third hour, trends forecaster Gerald Celente joins us with his latest trend projections, his take on Bilderberg, the TPP, and more. Always enjoy having Gerald Celente on. His new Trends Journal is out. Spring edition. Liars, cowards, freaks, and fools. It's been on a while. Welcome to the presidential reality show. Let me just give you some of the headlines that are here. I've probably said this 500, 600 times in the last 4 years that they would end up sending al-Qaeda into Syria and other areas. They were then given the weapons in Benghazi, and then they will end up attacking the West. That'll be used to take our liberties. When they shoot up a shopping mall or a high school or a convention center, I predicted that. The calls will be to restrict our Second Amendments. Well, it wasn't hard to predict this. The London Independence Day. ISIS dirty bomb. Jihadists have seized enough radioactive material to build their first WMD. When our own government created this organization and changed their name to ISIS to confuse the public when the military said they wouldn't be part of it. But it's now been not just leaked, but Defense Intelligence confirmed those documents a month ago and declassified that they, quote, predicted that arming the rebels would create a Salafist state in the area. So they kind of hedged their bet and complained at the time and said, we don't want to do this. Was that moral? Was it Machiavellian? Whatever, it's the same thing. Our criminal government armed al-Qaeda and then changed their name to confuse the public. Coming up, we're going to get to Syrian rebels seize largest army base in Deira. They're taking control of the country. They're winning because they ran back into Iraq, got secretly supplied by NATO, and they're going in hard. So they can chop off every Christian's head they find, throw people off roofs, just murder everyone. If you're a homosexual, you're dead. But no feminist, no liberal will. That's okay because it's trendy, it's sexy, it's cool. The White House is doing this. It's anti-Western. You go out to any communist march and there'll be a bunch of radical jihadis with them. With women screaming, white women, white privilege, white men are pigs, all males are bad, I love Stalin, I love Satan, I love Mao. When the jihadis would sexually mutilate them and put a bag over their head if they were lucky. But they love that because it's destructive and evil. The West, with women empowered, they want to dominate it and wreck it so they can be overrun and put in slave pits with bags on their heads. And they can't drive cars. And that's their dream. To have bags put on their heads, to be sexually mutilated, and not be able to drive a car, and be beaten and raped. They love it. They hate the country that gave them the freedom. We'll be back. Stay with us.
We're on the march.
We have 3 of our great reporters in the field in Austria right now covering Bilderberg 2015. And I think it's important just to take a deep breath and to pull back and to observe the planet and who's controlling it. Kit Daniels has an excellent article up on Infowars.com that is so important, dealing with the quotes, the evil quotes of Bilderberg, and then linking to where members of Bilderberg made these statements. The headline is the most evil quotes from Bilderberg insiders. There's another article, The Spirit of Jim Tucker Seen at Bilderberg 2015. And it's an allegory. We're not saying we actually saw Casper the Friendly Ghost. Another video, Austrians mad as hell at Bilderberg 2015. Convicted criminal David Petraeus to represent U.S. at Bilderberg. €500 fine or 2 weeks in prison for entering giant exclusion zone, security zone at Bilderberg. That is such important news. Bilderberg 2015 to focus on rebranding authoritarianism with a very important video that we aired earlier where Watson breaks it all down. It's the most important 9 minutes on Bilderberg out there. How they want to bring in a planetary government with carbon taxes and computer systems with smart dust, as they call it, RFID in everything, tracking the Internet of Things, taxing, micromanaging, shutting down local farming, shutting down community centers, shutting down anything independent. A cashless society tracking everything you do and then taxing the daylights out of you. And gaming the economies like they game interest rates, currency rates, and the stock markets. That's all admitted. And you look at who's at this meeting, these are the people that own Dutch Royal Shell and BP. And their wealth are state secrets, like Queen Beatrix. These are the people that are financing through their foundations, like Ford and Rockefeller and Carnegie, taking our guns, breaking up the family, demonizing men as good role models. They are the engines, and they are the captains. They are the system of anti-human exterminism for a global decline. They publicly say zero growth. They want a decline into what they call neo-feudalism, where they get the life extension, they get the power, they get to live in the countryside in beautiful complexes. We live in giant mega-city prisons. This is the group openly funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda to destabilize and bring in fear so they can bring in the solution. This is the group openly funding civil unrest and destabilization. This is the group. And you look at the members of it, they are mainly just super gophers for the royalty and the top controllers who also attend, who then go out and have their legions of minions under them. It's a major summit where they fine-tune existing global treaties, corporate treaties, from the different corporate houses and the different imperial families that sit behind those houses. When I say imperial, I mean the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Lee family in China, the Japanese royalty. You look at who runs this whole show, folks. They are anti-human demons who come from lines of genetic psychopaths. And so they're willing and able and hungry and desire secretive control. But the minute you blast them with spotlights of truth, I love to be out in the sun. It feels good. I enjoy it. The globalists don't like it. And I mean that as an allegory. Their skin burns like vampires. The light of truth hits them, they start to fry. And we're there frying them right now. Because they are the ones attacking us. They're the ones in our face. They're the ones that have committed all these crimes. I mean, go read their unbelievable quotes. I'm going to cover other news, like West Coast of North America to be slammed in 2016 with 80% as much Fukushima radiation as Japan. Clearing your browser history can be deemed obstruction of justice in the U.S., even though you got to clear the cookies and stuff to get better deals on the internet. Doesn't matter, it's criminal. They can indict you and send you to 20 years in prison for it. We're going to be covering that. There is no law. They just deem it, misapply, and then have a kangaroo jury send you down the river. Oh, but don't worry. Evil tyranny of this level will burn and drown everyone involved in it as well. The gun of oppression kicks as hard as it shoots. The lovers of tyranny, the lovers of death, will get to drink deeply from the cups they've poured. Now joining us from outside the security perimeter, where you get 2 weeks in prison and fines. That's being reported by the main Austrian news. Dinosaur Media has been embarrassed now by Infowars.com and DrudgeReport.com into reporting massive coverage all over the European press and all over the UK press. Joining us with the latest developments is Paul Watson. Then we'll talk to Josh Owens and Rob Dew. Paul Watson, what are your observations? Did you have trouble getting in? What are you witnessing?
No, it was actually really smooth getting in, Alex. What I noticed is there is a police presence now at the airport. It's full of cops. There was one security official at the airport going around with a camera. He gave me some funny looks. I don't know if that's related. But what stands out to me is Bilderberg is where the real power lies, because we saw how the journalists were treated at the G7 conference. Literally, they were pampered like royalty. They had food tables. They had real